First round, and... ah! It always cracks me up, though, that the slowest person to react in all of these videos is always the person who fired the shot. What is up, you sexy YouTube mother lovers, and welcome back to another episode of the Darwin Awards. As we say here on the channel, guns are awesome. Idiots, on the other hand, not so much. When you put the two of those things together, you might end up with a winner of what we call a Darwin Award. If you're not familiar with the concept of a Darwin Award, it's an award that you get, often posthumously, when you do something so stupid you end up removing yourself from the gene pool. You die, and the fittest continue to survive. In this episode, we have AK fighting, shotgun dancing, Polish safety officers, and more. But the purpose of these videos, aside from comedy and entertainment, of course, is to try to use a few of these clips as examples of gun safety failures and how to avoid them. That being said, let's start this episode out strong with a pucker factor of 10. Let's say you yourself are fighting in the front lines of Ukraine. You have a truckload of loaded rockets and you want to get them onto the ground as fast as possible. Well, you got a lot of options, but you can always do what this guy did. Just toss the bitch. Dude, that slow motion is fucking crazy. It looks like that rocket just ripped right through the body panel of that truck. This reminds me of that old clip we used in another Darwin Awards episode where the guy's just slamming the RPG down into the dirt. Except this guy wasn't so lucky, but a lot luckier than he could have been. I know some of you ordnance nerds are gonna tell me exactly what kind of rocket that is down in the comments. Come on, guys. You know who you are. It's your time to shine. Speaking of Ukraine, I actually have a bonus clip that I wouldn't normally include in the episode, but it just fit too perfect here. Apparently, this is a Russian helicopter accidentally dumping a bunch of missiles at some random bystanders. Luckily, that guy didn't get hit, but, I mean, overpressure is a fucking thing. Probably doesn't remember the fucking second grade anymore, I'll tell you that. Now, I will caveat, there's a lot of disinformation and changing of stories with clips like this. So do I know if that's what actually happened here? No. Would I put it past the Russians?
Absolutely fucking not.
Now, the next clip we're gonna talk about comes from Poland. This video went super viral recently and is actually the reason why we're doing this Darwin Awards video so soon after the last one. You guys were blowing me up with this video and we had to talk about it. The guy's apparently a judge or something at this shooting competition, and as he's trying to, I guess, unload this shotgun, he ends up pointing it directly at another person's hip. Let's see how that plays out.
Rozładuj. Po dwa, po prostu sygnalnie.
Yeah, so, that guy's probably not gonna walk right for a little while. Or maybe ever. Better hope that bounced off the titanium on that guy's hip. Holy shit. Thankfully, this looks like it's probably like birdshot or a target load, something nice and light. Because if that was buckshot or a slug, well, this guy would probably not have to worry about learning to walk again. Now, the funniest part to me is that there's actually more to this story outside the video. Apparently, the vest he's wearing is from some Polish shooting safety foundation or something like that. The organization who has now weighed in on this video and is claiming that that vest is actually fake. They say they have nothing to do with this whatsoever. They say that the guy in the video actually made a fake vest to pretend to represent them, which sounds... But regardless, it is very funny. Vestgate, not the gunshot injury. All right, the guy's apparently fine, so now I can say maybe it's a little funny. Now it's probably a good time to go over the 4 basic rules of gun safety like we do in every video, because trust me, they're gonna come in handy in the next clips. Treat every weapon as if it is loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger until you are ready to fire. Know your target and what's behind it, and never point your weapon at anything you're not willing to destroy. If you break one or more of those rules, well, unfortunately, you might end up on the show. Thanks to Delete Me for sponsoring this video. Darwin Awards aside for a second, did you know that your private information is probably available somewhere online because some data broker somewhere took it and sold it on the internet? People have entire jobs where all they do is just take your private information off the internet and sell it to companies, which is why you get so much spam. I don't like spam! Well, it doesn't have to be that way, and that's where Delete Me comes in. With your personal information online, you could be doxxed, harassed, swatted, or worst of all, just spammed to death. crap just drives me up a wall, which is why I'm using Delete Me to get all my personal information off the internet. Not only can Delete Me do all that for you, Delete Me can also reduce your risk of identity theft and being a victim of phishing scams. PH, not F.
You, sir, are a fish.
Basically, the way that it works is that Delete Me experts will go out and find and remove your personal information. And that's not just a one-time thing either. They will regularly search for and remove your personal information all year long. So save yourself a lot of headache and go to joindeleteme.com/Herrera. If you use that link or just use the code Herrera, you will get 20% off. That's joindeleteme.com/Herrera. So now let's travel over to a part of the world that's just been a generator for Darwin Awards clips. The Middle East. So here we have two gentlemen holding AKs. And I thought, oh, this is gonna be one of those videos where, you know, they just shoot up in the air and don't really care about where the bullets land. I was wrong. Just watch. I'm not gonna lie, when somebody first showed me this video, I had to watch it multiple times. I was in fucking disbelief. Don't worry, when something inevitably goes wrong, I'm sure there's a nice, sanitary, cutting-edge first world hospital nearby. But yeah, this is some serious smooth brain shit. Looks like those old cartoons where they shoot at somebody's feet to try to make him dance.
You can dance better than that!
Speaking of dancing, we've actually covered stuff like this next video in Darwin Awards in the past, but this one is fucking crazy. So this part of the world, they apparently have a custom where they take basically a muzzle-loading shotgun and they fill it with black powder, create like a blank load, and then they dance with it and shoot it at the ground and stuff as sort of like a festive thing, I guess. Sometimes it doesn't go so great, as we've seen before. This guy in today's video, though, is for whatever reason doing this in the middle of an active public street. The results, about as bad as they can be. So we got first round, and
In the face! In the face!
I mean, luckily it's just a blank, but fuck me, dude. Blanks can still potentially kill you. I love how he's not even good at it. Like, he just does some, like, half-assed ROTC rifle twirl and then shows some poor fucker behind him the face of God. It always cracks me up, though, that the slowest person to react in all of these videos is always the person who fired the shot. Other people are, like, freaking out, and they're just like, fuck, I'm gonna have to leave the country, huh? Now, before we move on, I did want to tell you guys that we still have these available at Bunker Branding. Brandon Herrera for ATF Director Shirts. Shut it down, which is obviously the end goal. If you haven't heard about that yet, I've got a whole video about it, but yeah, somehow I ended up with the most votes on RFK's website, where people recommend cabinet positions. Not my qualifications? Well, aside from my over a decade industry experience as a federally licensed 07 manufacturer's FFL with SOT, I can also, you know, have a little bit of practical experience that the ATF has seemed to be lacking in for quite some time. A lot of experts there. Not to mention my political activism and my congressional testimony on ATF-related bills. Now, I don't know who Trump's gonna pick for this position, but you can show your support down in the links in the description and in the pinned comment, because with these shirts, we're actually donating a good bit of the proceeds to no-kill dog shelters or animal shelters here in San Antonio. Because even if we can't save dogs from the ATF, we can still save some here at home. Now, before we leave the Middle East for this episode, we've got one last clip from that area. You see, there's always that one guy at the party who takes things just a little too far.
Well, of course I know him. He's me.
So here we have Shane Gillis taking a break from making them at night. He's holding what looks to be a Makarov, a man after my own heart. Everybody just seems to be fine with him fucking around with it, until he tries to load it. I will say, great situational awareness and risk control from his friends there. That definitely could have escalated quickly. Look, I'm always down to play with guns, but you have to know the time and place. And again, the 4 rules of gun safety are not optional. Now, this next clip is scary for a lot of reasons. So we're on a bus or some sort of public transportation here, and the cop or security, whoever that is, has what looks to be a Scorpion Evo, like a 9mm submachine gun there, slung around on his side. Not really sure what country would have cops walking around with a slung Scorpion. I I think off the top of my head, maybe Kenya. I do, however, know the countries that kids shouldn't be walking around pulling the triggers of oblivious cops' submachine guns. Fucking all of them. God, this is like the third world equivalent of the whole like grab the officer's service weapon meme. Luckily, it looks like the mother was there to prevent this from turning into a real problem with that tactical arm slap. I know in my house growing up, there would have been a weapon of choice. So this next one was actually all over my Twitter feed recently because all I get there now is politics, people dying, Indians versus trains, so people dying, OnlyFans ads, and slurs. It's like the internet unfiltered. It's perfect. And if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, but unfortunately it involves fireworks. So I cannot include it on the YouTube version because that is specifically against YouTube's community guidelines. But it is available on Pepperbox Uncensored, as well as the rest of this video is uncensored as well. But I will warn you in advance, and don't say I didn't, it is very uncensored. Now, this next one happens pretty fast. Judging by the music and the attire, I'm guessing this one comes out of India, but I'm not 100% sure. But that's not the part we should care about. The part we should care about is that guy in the upper left-hand corner of the screen fucking around with a loaded revolver. Doesn't take long to figure out why. Yep. Guy just kind of grabs his chest like he's got acid reflux or something. Major what the fuck moment from the guy playing with the gun, who, might I add, continues to wave the loaded gun around right after he just accidentally shot someone. Also, who doesn't know how a revolver works and has to fuck with it like that? Guess who didn't even click the links down below to check out SDI.edu, am I right? Once again, it's another example of one of those clips where the guy who does the shooting just kind of stands there like, fuck, I guess I have to find another IT job in Mongolia. Now, we've shown a couple of Darwin Award-worthy clips so far, but that brings us to the main event. A rapper accidentally shooting himself in the head on video. Now, this one actually got a lot of media coverage, and I've had this in my folder to cover on Darwin Awards before, but I didn't think it was worthy of including until recently I found the actual video. And man, does it take the cake for Darwin Award this episode.
Bitch, look, I got that 30 on that bitch, nigga. Yeah, fuck y'all.
And just like that, that's it. That's how fast this shit happens, guys. Flexing with a gun on social media and trying to look all hard and impress people for 6 seconds. And that's all it took for this guy to accidentally end his own life. Which brings up another point. I heard a few people saying that this was actually intentional. That they say they heard him take the safety off and do it on purpose. If you look at the side of the gun, as this is actually a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield, I believe, it does have a safety right there behind the slide release. And when he shows it to the camera, we actually do see that the safety is in the on position, or at least that's what it looks like to me. Meaning that that click we hear,
yeah, fuck y'all,
is actually him disengaging the safety before pointing it to his temple and pulling the trigger. Now, I don't believe in context that this actually looks like an intentional self-delete. That's just my read on the clip and the attitude and everything like that. I'm not a psychologist, but that's what it looks like to me. To me, it just looks like a shitty internet flex gone horribly wrong. And that's sad for a lot of reasons, but to me, it's most sad because this was completely avoidable. It usually takes a violation of at least 2 of the safety rules to have a major accident. And this guy was going for the royal flush. I mean, he pretty much violated all of them. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. Play stupid games.
Yeah, fuck y'all.
And you could win a Darwin Award. But anyhow, guys, that wraps up this episode of Darwin Awards. Hopefully you guys learned something. If not, I hope it was at least entertaining and gave you guys a couple of reasons to reinforce in your head why you follow the safety rules. Got some videos coming up I'm really excited for, including possibly a Guns of Red Dead Redemption video. It's a video that I've been working on for a very long time, so I'm excited to show that to you soon. Make sure you don't miss out on it, and make sure that you're subscribed down below. Again, YouTube's always doing that weird thing where they unsubscribe people, so just make sure you check. But I'm wrapping up for the night. I appreciate you guys so much for watching all the way to the end, and I will see you, sexy YouTube mother lovers, in the next video. Thanks, guys.
Fuel is my obsession to make the perfect weapon, like Rasputin's rise to the top. But I can stop.